OG crew, again, get used to it. AJ Kratz, I'm Braun. AJ, some people were shocked mid-show when they saw that you had a live studio audience. Is that the case again today, or are you rocking solo?
I'm solo. Yesterday was a special day. My friend Pickle, who you got to see, was here with my son and some other friends. But no, there's nobody here today. Our producer lady made me close the door behind me in case a ghost walked out. But no, there's nobody here. It's just me. I'm in the battery, chilling. Ready to rock. Let's talk baseball.
Yeah, well, business first, but eventually we'll get to baseball. When you mentioned Pickle yesterday mid-show, I should have known, but I didn't.
No. Well,
I
think you met. Didn't you meet Pickle at some point?
I feel like I might have met Pickle. Yeah,
you probably met Pickle. He lives in Orlando. Good guy, good funny guy. But
getting a lot of play on this week's episodes.
Also, when your name's Pickle, you got to be a good guy because no one named Pickle's a bad guy.
Unless you're in the mob and you're just taking people out, but that's
True.
Not the kind of pickle. I don't think you hang out with those types of pickles.
No, I try to stay out of those pickles. Unlike certain people that get into those pickles, I try to stay out of those pickles.
That would be a good dill to stay out of that type of pickle.
See, I knew Kratz couldn't resist. Not only the dill part, I was waiting for that, but also just the classic getting into a pickle situation. Kratz, how difficult is it to hold back?
It's difficult, but every time there's a rundown in any game I'm ever at, I'll be barely paying attention. I'll just be like, pickle! If you don't yell pickle when there's a rundown, I don't care what the situation is. You're not doing it right.
You don't have a soul if you're not yelling pickle, right?
Easy.
Yeah. Okay, business first. Let's charge the mound.
Charging the mound.
One of the most shocking headlines of the year, and I'm not being sarcastic. The Twins are not for sale. I repeat, the Twins have been taken off the market. They have been owned for 44 years? They sold for $44 million. I think 40-something years ago, to the Pohlad family. They have pulled the plug on the sale of the team via press release. They're bringing in some limited partners. I'll summarize for you, or I'll give you a little bit, I guess. After a detailed and robust process, the family will remain the principal owner of the Twins to strengthen the club in a rapidly evolving sports landscape, one that demands strong partnerships, fresh ideas, and long-term vision. We are in the process of adding 2 significant limited partnership groups, each of whom will bring a wealth of experience and share our family values. Also from the Pohlads, we see and hear the passion from our partners, the community, and Twins fans. That passion inspires us. This ownership group is committed to building a winning team and culture for this region, one that Twins fans are proud to cheer on. Scott, take it away for us. Okay, I'll take it away for you as your hired PR, your fake PR. Back in 2023, when we won a playoff series, yes, a wild card series, but a playoff series for the first time in a very long time, like 2 decades, our commitment to you after that new ballpark that we made the city pay for was to cut payroll by $30 million. Then take a year to think that you were going to get a new ownership group that was actually going to take care of you, fan base. We even teased you at the trade deadline and sold away 40% of the team. And then what did we do? We rugged you. 2 weeks later, we rugged you, baby. We're keeping the team. We sold half the team. Payroll is freaking rock bottom, and we just made a whole heap of money from minority investors. How'd I do, AJ? You think I'm going to get hired?
You're probably not going to get hired by him, but you told that's what basically happened. I mean, it is what happened. And let's not forget, they were, $400 million in debt. So by getting rid of Carlos Correa and some of the other players, they probably saved some of the debt. They get minority owners to come in and cover that debt. They're back to zero, and Joe Pohlad can still own the team. Like, that was one of the big sticking points. They said, remember, they were going to sell him, but they were like, oh, Joe Pohlad has to stay on board as something important. And I think the Ishbios were like, no, we're going to start over. And the Pohlads were like, no, we're going to pull the team back. So we're going to keep it. Listen, I know a lot of people in Minnesota. I started my career in Minneapolis. Great city, great place, great baseball fans. But it's just, it runs its course, right? It's time. If you're not going to invest in the team enough and continue to invest in the team, then it's time to move on and get your $2 billion and move on. Why do we want to keep doing this? Why? That's all I want to know. Why do they want to keep doing this?
I'm going to rank that as one.
Yeah, go ahead, Kratz.
Oh, I was just going to say I was going to rank it as one of Scott's best soliloquies of the year. maybe of all time, because it was spot on. And I hope out of all this conversation, the one idea it said was a fresh ideas from this new capital group that's coming in to infuse some money. I hope they bring fresh ideas. I hope they have a long-term, what does it say? Long-term vision. I hope there's a long-term vision, because any team that buys some or gets some good graces with the city and then sells players and then gets good graces and sells players has no long-term vision. Long-term vision. Look at the other teams that have lasting success. If that's what you really want, I hope that new group coming in has that. Fresh ideas and an actual long-term vision. Because ultimately then the Pohlads will make money, which I think is really all they care about.
Dan Hayes wrote an article. He's dialed in on this whole sale attempt and failure to sell the team, or at least to a majority owner, right? Which is what we all thought was going to happen, including the commissioner of baseball, if you believe him. But anyway, Dan Hayes said, though the team drew the interest of multiple limited partnership groups, nobody with the financial wherewithal to purchase a large chunk of the club emerged. Despite messages that the sale was progressing with multiple interested parties, the sources suggested the Twins were having difficulty attracting potential majority owners. I'd like to know.
Overpriced. That means it was
Right,
overpriced.
what the price was, because I bet you there were people that were interested in buying the team that said, this ain't worth it. And then they said, well, then we're not selling. And then they said, cool. We'll wait for something else to open up, whether it's in baseball or otherwise. You don't get whatever price you want. I understand that there's scarcity. There's a limitation to this, and it could be an awesome asset to own, right? I mean, look at them. They bought it for $44 million, and they're trying to sell it for $1.7 billion. And I'm telling you, every single soul in that city that likes baseball and likes the Twins is desperately crying for somebody else to take over this team. Every single soul. I'm telling you, it is by far the biggest story. And it's why I gave the Twins an A at the trade deadline. I'm like, hey, if this helps clear books and get a team sold or the team moved over to another ownership group, great. Now it's an F because it didn't happen. And if we believe that they're holding true on this, AJ, and that it's not just a little bit of chicken with a potential investor, then this is a travesty for the city of Minneapolis. There's no other way to state it.
Yeah. Listen, I played for the Twins for 20 plus years ago. And at that time we were one of the low market teams, low budget. And they just said, we just need a stadium. We just need a stadium. They got the stadium. They start putting money in. The team is rolling. The team is selling out at Target Field. And Target Field, if you haven't been, is one of the best ballparks in the league. I'm sorry. I love Target Field. It's awesome. It's right on top of you. It's built straight up. It's a great place. Okay. And then they win a playoff series and they say, we're cutting payroll. What? When a chance in the AL Central now, let's not forget the AL Central is very winnable for every team if they do it right. And then again, this past year, they're like, we're cutting payroll even more going into the year. And then at the trade deadline, they trade their whole team away. And now they're like, we're not going to sell the team because we got out of debt and we're going to start over. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I know you can't make someone sell a team, but man, the Twins fans again that are there are not happy today because they want a new message, a new life, a new anything for the Twins. And I don't know when it's going to come because they just don't seem to want to be able to do that.
They made it like it was a lock too. That's what's bothering people as well. This has been going on for about a year. And let's go back 1 month. Commissioner Rob Manfred said that a process was in place. And I'll pull some quotes here. He said, essentially, there will be a transaction. It's not a matter of if a deal for the Twins can be struck, but when. And here's another direct quote. I know some things that you don't know. I can tell you with a lot of confidence that there will be a transaction there, and it will be consistent with the kind of pricing that has taken place. There will be a transaction. We just need to be patient while they rework. End quote.
There was a transaction. They added minority ownership. He was right. But here's some. I think you said this, Scott, on our pre-call before the show. How many owners were like, hey, you want us to pay a lot of money and there might be a work stoppage after 1 year? Why would we buy it now? Why don't we just wait a year until there's a new CBA? I can't argue that. If I'm trying to go buy a team right now and I know a possibility in a year I might have to sit out for a long time and not make any money, wouldn't you wait too if you have enough money to buy a team? Wouldn't you just wait until that's done and then you can jump right in and start making money the way you want to?
Well, there's two sides to this. Yes, most would wait because they don't like question marks, especially major question marks that could cost the team a lot of money if they do actually hold out for a long period of time when we go through the lockout process a couple seasons from now. But AJ, the other side could say, sure, you can wait, but we're going to try to sell the team. So if you want to wait, you might not have this team. So then you don't care enough. And if you want to wait for another team, go for it. Right. So it is a two-way street.
But Scott, apparently everybody did that because if somebody would have stepped up, they would have sold the team, right? So I mean, what I want to know is how much of this, again, it goes back to, remember when they said the Ishbias were supposed to buy this team? Everyone thought the Ishbias were buying this team. And then don't forget, they were like, oh, whoever buys this team, Joe Pohlad has to stay a part and an integral part of this and that. And like all these stipulations, you're selling the team. You don't get stipulations, right? You're selling the team. If Joe Pohlad has to go find a different job, then Joe Pollad's got to go find a different job. I'm sorry.
He doesn't have to work again either. You know, when you take the investment from 44 mil to 1.7 bill, or even if it was 1.5, you can still get away with $1.1 billion. So I've heard. I don't know from personal experience, but I think you can get away with that unless you're really a big spender. Then we need to talk about other things. But Kratz, the thing for the Twins is that this team was building up, got to that point in 2023, and they're like, all right, here we go. We're going to have something special. We're in our winning window. And then they immediately retreated. And I think that there was some forgiveness if they actually went through with what they said. And now we are literally back to square one.
Literally back to square one. You gave the city hope. But the players gave the city hope. This was a great window. Look at you can go down the roster of who they had, and they just did it all based on a money transaction. They broke the team down after the success was there, after like they should have been in the playoffs last year, all this stuff. This has nothing to do with like, I just don't see this as our window. This is just a money. And the Pohlads have moved high up on the list of brutal owners of teams. And my question is, off this topic, is the CBA. Obviously, owners want to push for the salary cap, and that's what we've heard. Does the value of the organization go up if a salary cap's installed? Does it go down? Because the Twins have to spend money then. They're not at the floor. They have to spend money, but they're going to be getting a big influx of money in too. So does the value go up as an organization?
Right.
Yes,
so
it goes way up.
Yeah, it's going to go way up. They're going to bring salaries down.
Exponentially up.
They're banking on that, right, AJ? And we know where they're voting.
Yes.
They're going to vote to miss as many games as possible.
Oh, they trust me. They want to take. Yeah, listen. Owners that. I don't want to say all owners but a lot of owners want a cap in baseball because they know what they're going to spend and they can set their budget, and whatever they make over that number, guess what? They get to keep it all. So they don't have to put it back, and they can just go to the fans. Well, we have a cap. We can only spend so much, right? But then owners like Stevie Cohen, the Dodgers, the Yankees, sometimes the Red Sox, when they want to, they can say, well, we can spend as much as we want. So the fans can't complain then and say, well, our owner doesn't care. But if they have a cap, then it limits the certain teams to say, well, we can only spend so much, guys. Sorry, we did the best we can. Oh, and we still made $200 million over our $150 million cap. Oh, no, whereas before we'd have to spend $250 and only make $50 million. Oh, no, poor us, right? That's why all these owners want a cap. Let's not get it confused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this obviously has some funny components to it with all of the BS and the lying and the quotes that have come out over the past year. But it also is devastating for the city. It really is. You have no control over this whole process. And it's very difficult right now for many Twins fans out there to continue to show up and continue to support the team. It's real, right? It really hurts. This is the ultimate gut punch.
Rally around Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton wants to be there. He said it. He said that much. And as a player, he's realistic. I assume he's realistic. He ain't getting no help. They're not bringing anybody in. You got to grind through this. Byron's like, I spent my whole career trying to stay healthy. Now I'm an all-star, healthy. I told the city I want to be here. Oh, and my boss says, that's cool, thanks, but baseball thing's probably not going to work out for us here.
Yeah, I mean, he was using all the buzzwords, the revenue, the payroll. It's so tough. I have to do the tough stuff and run the business. Oh, it feels so bad. It's so hard. So hard to run a team. I mean, I'm looking back at the quotes over the last couple of years. They're atrocious. They're atrocious. And again, the only reason why the whole world wasn't ripping them even more than they already were was the fact that there was a promise that this was going to be it. I actually legitimately thought, AJ, that the downfall from the playoff high of 23 and the next 24 months after that truly led to them saying, you know what? This ain't worth it anymore. My family legacy is all about this. This is really negative. This sucks. This is what I'm going to be known for. Cash out and leave.
I thought you were. I agree with you, Scott. I thought after the vitriol of the fans of last year and last year I thought was bad. This year was even worse because of what happened. I thought that's why they were selling the team. And when you have the commissioner come out and say there will be a transaction, I know more than you, nanny boo boo. I know more than you do. Right? We all know you know more than we do, Rob, because you're on the inside. You work for the owners, okay? So let's not forget about that. But when you come down and say the Twins are going to be sold, not if, but when, then people are like, yes, we finally get a fresh start. Now it's like, nope, just kidding. We're going to keep the team and keep you guys. Basically, it's like I don't want to say a hostage situation because it's not like that, but that's like the analogy that comes to mind, right? The Pohlad family has the Twins, and they're like, oh, there's a lot of baseball fans in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Iowa, that all go to Minneapolis for games. And they're now like, well, we have the team. We can do whatever we want. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's an interesting situation. I just wish it was a different situation.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. And yeah, as far as the commissioner goes, either he was kind of playing the game with everyone else on the Pohlad family side so that they could try and bargain, right? And say, hey, we've got interest. Something's going to happen. Or he legitimately thought that they were going to sell, and then the Pohlad said, yeah, it's my damn team. I'm not selling. So either way, the whole thing is just a bloody mess. It is a bloody mess in Minneapolis for baseball on this day. Twins fans, we're here for you. That's all we want you to know. We're talking about this the way it should be talked about. Coming up next, a team on the rise. The Seattle Mariners are going to be covered with us by Ryan Rowland-Smith. The team can't lose. We have a little breaking news on HelloFresh. We've talked about them for a long time, but this summer they have their biggest menu upgrade yet. Ready for this, Todd Father?
Talk to me.
They have doubled their menu. Doubled. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. 100 options per week.
That's incredible. But to start out, what they had before was absolutely perfect. Now to add even more for your go guys like me. I got baseball in the morning. I got baseball afternoon, all day, every day. I need something to get going. I need something to eat, and it's absolutely delicious, Scott.
That's right, Todd Father. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM right now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on a first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That is HelloFresh.com/FT10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. Hey, we're back for a minute here. So we're about to talk about the Mariners, and I do want to let fans know that there is hope. The Mariners were as closely linked to the Twins as any team, right? Rebuild, build back up, then kind of rug you right at the finish line. And look, this year, trade deadline, you trade for corner infield bats. This team is like the hot number right now in baseball, or one of the top 3 hot numbers in baseball. They've got a season high 8-game winning streak. I know we're going to get into it all, but Kratz' point is it's not that hard to do a little bit more and make all of the difference. That's the thing that bothers me the most.
Go for it. The Mariners didn't sign Juan Soto to a big contract, Ohtani to $700 million. They added to a team that was already there in pieces that they needed. They upgraded their team. Eugenio Suarez isn't even doing well there, and it's still been successful. It shows, like, don't be afraid of, well, I don't know how he's going to do when he comes over here. Make the move. You never, 100% of the pitches you don't swing at, you don't hit. Do that as an ownership, as a team. You might find yourself having a parade. That's the goal.
Shoot your shot. Dipoto got the ability to do that this time, and it clearly made a difference. You can tell the team's vibing.
It's worked. Yeah. It's a different feel. It's a totally different feel than what they had before. You bring in Naylor, who's got super swag. You bring in Suarez, who's got swag. It helps.
Hey, we've got our buddy Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us right now. Mariners TV analyst, Top Step podcast, great accent, just the whole thing working for him. And he's covering one of the best teams in baseball right now. Ryan, great to have you on.
Yeah, and the hair.
Don't forget about his hair.
I'm ready for to go to a game here in Baltimore. It's been fun, man, since the trade deadline. I'm not going to lie, completely different feel with this team because this is really they've been really aggressive every trade deadline the last couple of years. But this is the first time where it's like there's no justification or explaining the move, right? It's basically like, yep, you want an offense, you were banging that drum all off season and into the season. You want that extra pieces offensively, and they got it. Here it is, and there's no 2025, and that's it. As opposed to trying to work around the edges or add this because it's a future move or we're trying to have controllable players or whatever it is. And man, everyone's fired up, man. A huge homestand. They took 9 to 10. They had the Ichiro weekend. It's just a really good thing happening right now in Seattle. That's for sure.
Did it need to be at the trade deadline? Did it need to be a move that was like, hey, we're, as a front office, we're looking at it like, I don't know, ownership, I don't know how good this team really is. Is Julio really good? We'll wait and see till the trade deadline because Suarez wasn't available. Josh Naylor was available. You could have gotten another third base bat to come in and play that position all year. They might not be tied right now. They may be up on the Astros.
You're talking going back into the offseason, right, in regards to making those moves. Well, put it this way, man, the Mariners, as we know, free agents, man, it's competitive. Sometimes it's more than just dollars and cents to bring some of these guys in. There's more that goes into it, as you guys know, and you got to do a little bit of recruiting as well. I feel like their big, draw card is where the players where you get it via trade, and I feel like coming out of 2024, their biggest chip was going to be pitching, whether it was in the minor leagues in AA, AAA, or even in the big leagues, dismantling that 5-man rotation. And they just weren't willing to do that. They just weren't willing to do that. So that move really wasn't out there, I feel like, in the offseason. And I feel like because they weren't, like I said, willing to give up their biggest strength. And then they get into a season. They kind of play, see how we go a little bit. They were slipping behind the Astros, who, by the way, were not very good in these last couple months in regards to how they were built. They were winning. I don't even know how they were winning, to be honest with you, with all these injuries and everything else. But you're looking at this going, man, well, how good are we? If the Astros are able to get this lead in the West and we can't keep up with them, you kind of ask yourself, well, how good is this team? And so I feel like it got to that place. And, we know Cal Raleigh the last couple of years has been vocal about it. And they've gotten to a place now where it's like we've got 5 All-Stars on this team. We've got a Cal Raleigh who's having a historic year, knocking over Johnny Bench and, heading towards Mickey Mantle in regards to home runs for a switch hitter. It's insane. So the time is now. And it got to a place where it was month after month of saying, this team has something here. There's a good young core of players you need to add. And it took up into the deadline. Put it this way, too, man. I got to give a ton of credit to Justin Hollander because, look, they made the move with Josh Naylor. And you look at that, and fans are like, yeah, great, we added. And we added a player finally who's just pure rental for 2025. But you look at that going, hold on, he's on the same team as Gino Suarez. What happened to that? We love Gino. How come we couldn't pull that off? And Justin Hollander, that door wasn't closed. And he just kept calling. And by the way, on the bullpen side as well, I think they were a little disappointed they didn't get another bullpen piece because they're pushing so hard to get that second guy in that bullpen and bridge that gap to Brash and Munoz. But I got to give it to them, man. They just kept pushing. And I think that doing that deal with Josh Naylor a little earlier, you develop that relationship where the D-backs say, yep, we're happy with what we got. Thank you. You're happy with what you got. All right, let's keep that door open. And then I feel like the value for Gino just kind of kept sort of slipping a little bit because there's other options out there. And then they struck, man. And by the way, they didn't give up any of their top 100 prospects. So A+ at the trade deadline. And to answer your question, sure. In the winter, I think if the goal was to go get offense, you were probably going to have to give up your biggest attribute, and that's pitching. I just don't think they're willing to do that. I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, honestly. Until this point.
But why this year? Why not last year? Why this year? Was it just because of the Cal Raleigh year and what they look around at the West and say the West is vulnerable this year? You kind of glossed over it a little bit, but is that the main reason? Because Houston's banged up beyond belief, right? They're not the same Houston. Bregman's gone. All these guys are gone. Then you look at the Rangers; they're not playing very well. The Angels are the Angels, clearly. Is this why finally Dipoto in the front office was told, hey, you can do this year? And it's awesome they didn't give up their top prospects. That's the way it's supposed to work. But, in years past, they've had the ability and they've had a luxury of the starting pitching. But why in 25? Yeah. Is it because the West is just not as good as it used to be?
I think so. I really do, man. I think it's, going back to last year, again, 2024, going back to that pitching, right? That's what got them close. And whether or not there was a move last year, look, they were still aggressive, and they still went and got Justin Turner and Randy Rosarina. I mean, they still got some offense. They still got Jimmy Garcia in the bullpen as well, and they didn't need to give up a whole lot to get him, and so they still were aggressive last year. The year prior to that, they went and got Luis Castillo, who was the biggest piece out there, and they added to that starting pitch. It wasn't as good as last year in 2023 to go get Luis Castillo to fill that void. And that's kind of that was their anchor. That was their, call it their aircraft carrier. That was what was going to take them to that next level. So going into 2025, and you guys know, man, it's so tough to replicate what they got out of their starting pitching last year. And that's kind of been obvious, right? Bryce Miller goes down. He's struggled. You had a situation where George Kirby didn't start the year. He was on the IL. You had, Logan Gilbert missed 7 weeks as well. So you're not going to replicate what they had in 2024, but I feel like they went into this season saying, all right, we might be limited in what we can do in regards to going and paying money for a free agent, but we do have that capacity to make a trade at some point. And the time was right, man. They got to a place as a group, as a team, and as a front office to say, all right, we're really good, yet we know what we need. We're going to be aggressive like they were last year and the year prior to that. And let's go and get a move that services 2025 only, really for the first time in the last couple of years. So, again, man, the aggression has always been there. But this year it just feels different because it's straight up not a situation where it's like we have controllable players or we can do this and that. No. They just went all in on pure rentals. We just haven't seen that in the last couple of years.
All right, let's move ahead to the rest of the season now. Eugenio Suarez has got like a 330 OPS since he's come over. And right. Naylor's got 1,000 OPS. How do you see, because you see this team day in and day out, how do you see pitchers navigating the lineup differently with those two guys in, especially because people will be like, oh, Suarez trade sucked. Like he's not doing – to me, you add a guy like Suarez who will get hot at some point and carry the team, but he's there all the time looming. Do you see a difference in how teams – are pitching and navigating how we got to throw to a certain guy that's feasting during this time?
Yeah, the biggest shakeup, which was interesting coming out of that deadline, was you had, J.P. Croft was at the top of the line. By the way, he's quietly having a really good year. And he was at the top of the line. Matter of fact, I was kind of hoping he was going to make the All-Star team. Didn't happen. He's having an awesome year, but man, he was struggling. Going into that trade deadline, he was struggling. Then they get, obviously, a Naylor, and then they get a Gino. They come out August 1st. You got to figure out how you kind of put this lineup together. You put Randy at the top, Randy Rosarina, who's having, by the way, best power year as well, and plus he's swiping a bunch of bags too. I think he's already, beaten his career best in stolen bases. And so you look at that and say, all right, you've got the first 1 through. I'll throw Polanco in there as well because he's back to what he was doing in April. 1 through 6, man, it's a gauntlet. It's tough because you look at that, there's no breathing room, right? Cal's still getting pitches to hit, which I thought after that home run derby, after that All-Star break, all right, they're going to have to, be a little bit more careful with him. But he's still getting pitches to hit, and he's starting to figure out that swing as well. 3 home runs in the last 4 games. And then you've got right behind him Julio all of a sudden, August and September. So it's a gauntlet. Now, the biggest question was when you saw JP go from the leadoff spot, and you guys know, man, like you see a guy lose his leadoff spot and he shuffles down to 7th. All right, how's he going to react? Like, how's he going to, around the cage or in the dugout, whatever, is he going to be that guy? But no, that's just not his style, man. He's kind of come in and basically said, so excited for what we got. Randy Rosarina wasn't upset about leaving the 4th spot behind Cal, getting more pitches. He's going up to the leadoff spot. So everyone's pretty fired up about what they have in this lineup. Now, you mentioned Gino hasn't quite gotten hot just yet, but it's just a tough lineup to navigate. And the only breathing room you look at and say, all right, you've got 3 lefties, 7, 8, 9. And so you're like, well, they're going to get matched up. But the problem is JP hits lefties pretty well. And by the way, pitches per plate appearance is insane. So you got 7, 8, 9 all of a sudden since the trade deadline, seeing about 4.5 pitches per plate appearance. On base is over 400 and flipping that lineup back over. So there is really no breathing room. Now, I know they only put up the 1 run yesterday, but going back to that homestand in Seattle, it was relentless. You could just have that feeling. We just haven't had that in Seattle. You've always had those pockets where it's like, oh, man, so-and-so's coming up with 2 outs and, there's a runner on second. You just feel like there's just going to be that swing and miss, especially last year. It's just not the case right now since August 1st, and everyone can feel it, man. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Hey, you brought up Julio Rodriguez, and he was a controversial all-star pick because of where he's at. His numbers are good now. What changed, though? What he's done this for a couple of years now, right, where April, May, even into June, it's really kind of a struggle, and then July, August, September come. What is the difference in second half Julio and first half Julio?
Yeah, okay, so going back to last year, right? We haven't had that big of a sample size, really. It's not like he's done it for 6 years. It's been like, a couple of years there where he went off as a rookie, expectation was through the roof. And then, going back to last year, right? Last year, he was just trying to reinvent the wheel. The guy was like, he was trying to have more plate discipline, but he was kind of taking away that aggressiveness on that first pitch. He just wasn't. I'm not saying the Mariners didn't allow him to be an athlete, but I feel like with him, he was just trying to be, super pro at bat and all of a sudden wear a pitcher down or something. It's like, dude, just go out and swing, man. See the ball, hit the ball, just rip it. And then this year, it was kind of this situation, I feel like, where he hits everything, he insides outs everything to right field, and it's ridiculous, man. Like, ball comes off his bat just different to everyone else. It just does. That's why all those ground balls can just kind of shoot through. It's like he's playing on a Little League field. And then the big conversation was, look, in order to get the ball in the air with some authority and get some power, some more of the power numbers, because that was lacking. It's been lacking the first half. It's like he's so, undercooked in regards to some of the power numbers. Get the ball in the air to the pull side. I feel like he was trying to do that. He was getting a little bit beaten inside. And then right before the All-Star break, it's like something clicked, man. He all of a sudden was able to get that bat head out, and he was launching balls into left field. Wasn't hitting the ball on the ground. Like, when you look at the ground ball rate to the left side of the infield, it's through the roof, but the exit velo is still good, right? So he's still getting good contact, but he just can't lift the ball. And then all of a sudden, right before the break, I want to say, I'm trying to remember who he took deep. I was watching. He got that little spin and breaking ball, got the bat head out, cheated a little bit, and he launched one foul into the seats. And I was like, oh man, I haven't seen him do that for forever. And then next pitch, whack, boom, took one into left field. And so I kind of eliminated just guys just beating him up, middle in my opinion. And I feel like from that point, he took you mentioned the All-Star game, controversial pick. He took that off because he wanted to get some work in, whatever it was. But now all of a sudden, I feel like he's just got this nice he's in this groove where he can hit that ball into right center field with authority, but he's just able to pick his spots where he can just get that bat head out and cheat a little bit on some of those pitches inside. So it's kind of, you can't just eliminate half the plate for Julio. So I think there's a little bit of that. And plus, too, I don't know what it is, man, psychologically, if it's something where, like, you get to that point where dust settles, trade deadlines happen, you had the All-Star break or the All-Star game, whether you're around your peers at the game or taking the time off, and you seeing the finish line, you just kind of have that nothing to lose sort of mentality. I think maybe there's a little bit of that too. Psychologically, he gets to a place where it's like, all right, this is my swing right now. I'm not trying to overthink it. I'm not trying to be more patient at the plate, Because, dude, he swings, man, still a ton first pitch. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's like, just have at it, man. Just swing. Just be an athlete. So I feel like there's a little bit of a combination of that. But, man, I don't know what it is. August, September, he just lights up. So it's a good sign for the Mariners.
And I think some people forget he's still not even 25 years old yet. I get it.
Exactly.
Some guys have MVPs and all that stuff, but he's still learning. So, I mean, I think it's cool that you see all those different things that he's learning to do in the big leagues.
Yeah, for sure.
Last question for me. Anytime I talk to an Australian baseball player, I have to ask, because I haven't seen my friend Jared Mangione is almost exactly your same age.
Yes.
Do you know what he's doing, and do you know who I'm talking about?
I know Mange. Of course I know Jared Mangione. Of course. What is he doing? Oh, man. Yeah, you stumped me. I don't know why. And I should know this, man, because all the Aussies, past and present, we all tend to, stay in the same circles. You guys had Grant Balfour on months ago. He's one of my best friends. He was a groomsman at my wedding. We're really close, all the way down to everyone else. So I should know what Mangione's up to. I'll find out, though, Erik. I'll get back to you, dude, and I'll find out exactly what he's doing. But that's a name I haven't heard for a long time.
Yes. Prospect with the Blue Jays that I played with for a few years. One of the guys.
Yeah, he was. He was good, man. I remember, like, high school age, he was a stud. The thing is, though, in Australia, like, I say that now, I say this all the time. If I grew up in the States, I know AJ's got some boys right now playing, the showcase, doing the showcase rounds and all that. Dude, I feel like if I grew up in the States, man, I don't know if I ever would have gotten a chance, dude, because, like, you're a big fish in a small pond. So I'll say Mangione was a stud. He may not have been. I don't know.
He was a stud.
He's stand out in Australia because no one plays. So there you go.
All right, Ryan, a couple things. First of all, I mean, I can go back to, like, Darren Fidge. I mean, names that you guys are talking about these guys. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
Williams.
Peter. I mean,
he's CEO of Baseball Australia, dude. He's big time now.
Yep, Willow.
Pete Moylan, and he was, in jail with our hitting coach the same night. I mean, I've been through a lot of Australian stuff. Okay. All right. So listen, here's what I want to know. I got two questions for you. One, we played in the Hall of Fame game. Like, it was like 7-8 years ago. Has your shoulder recovered from that yet? Because it was the first time you touched the ball forever. And then also, who has better hair and dress game, you or Goldsmith? Because you guys are always on point with the hair and the dressing game.
Yeah, dude. No, Goldsmith, man, rolls out of bed and he's just got that Lego hair about him, dude. It's unreal. Like, it's legit. It's got. You have to cut mine short, otherwise it goes all over the map. He doesn't need to do that. It's pretty on point. Goldsmith, that's for sure. Now, the Hall of Fame. I do have a story about that Hall of Fame Classic, real quick, because dude, I was fired up to pitch. I think, was Victorino there?
He might have been. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he may have been. Well, he comes up to me and a couple of the guys pitching. He's like, "Hey, man," and Jack Wilson too. Was like, hey, dude, make sure you throw breaking balls, change ups. We want to make this competitive. Don't just just slog it in there like this. I was like, yeah, no worries, no problem. And my back was killing me because I did that fun run thing in the morning too, like the 5K. Like I said, I'll run it like an idiot, and then my back was all blown up. But I remember you were catching, and I was all fired up, dude, like breaking balls, change ups, warming up. You walk out to the mound, you're like, hey, man, listen, don't be throwing any breaking balls, change ups, just throw right down the middle. Let's get the hell out of here. I was like, dude, man. So there I am, just coughing up. Just dudes were just lacing balls everywhere because you were just going, fastball. I'm like, dude, I want to spin a breaking ball. Let's go. It's been forever. Let's go. So you ruined it for me that way.
Oh yeah, it's all my fault. But you know why I did that? Because the year before I did it, and Kevin Gross did it, and he was a big curveball guy, and he had to have like arm surgery because he's like I couldn't. He blew his arm out the year before, so I was like, dude, just lob it in there. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
you wanted to go full like sliders on everybody.
Dude, I was waiting for like in spring training they say roll it. Guys just kept crushing balls, and there was a pop. I think like what's his name? Carlos Pena dropped us like a ball like for the third out, and I'm like, bro, dude, I can't stay out here. Can we just roll this inning? They wouldn't roll it, so I just had to keep just coughing it up. It was brutal.
Yeah, see, AJ had your back. He was trying to look out for you and for any potential future surgeries that you'd avoid. But anyway, Ryan, this was awesome, man. Thank you so much for catching up with us. Great to see you. Have fun calling, obviously, all the action here and keeping track of what the M's are doing. It's a fun follow right now. Good to talk to you, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Give Ryan a follow on Twitter. Also, check out his pod. He's all over Mariners TV. He's everywhere. Kratz, tell everyone why they need to look into a virtual private network, aka a VPN.
It's kind of like wearing trousers. It keeps everything private and secure whenever you venture out.
That's good. That's really good. And Surfshark creates user-friendly privacy and security solutions to protect your data and your privacy online. It enables you to virtually explore the globe, browse privately by encrypting your internet activity, and block ads and malware that may disrupt your experience. So go to surfshark.com/foul or use the code FOUL at checkout at surfshark.com to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. It's a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, and the FT fam is hooked up with 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN when you sign up at surfshark.com and use the code FOUL. It is time to take control of your online security. Try Surfshark today. Yes, Kratz said trousers, trout. Anyway, the Red Sox pounded the Astros yesterday. Bregman homered again, and so did basically everybody with the Red Sox, including Roman Anthony, who's got just as many homers in his last 2 games as he did in his first 50. So he's starting to find things. And actually, the quote from Alex Cora about Anthony is great. He's used this one to an extent before. He was very blunt on it. After the game, he said, man, we pinch hit for Anthony in the first game of his career. Who was the dumbass who did that? Well, that was Cora. That's a good line. I like that, AJ.
I think it's funny. It's his first game. I mean, how are they supposed to know? I mean, they saw him 2 at-bats. They pinch hit for him against a tough lefty. Welcome to the big leagues, Roman Anthony. It happens to almost everybody. So you've proved them wrong by signing a huge extension and being a stud for him. So you proved them all wrong, and you made Alex Cora eat his words. It's more fun to make Joey Cora eat his words, just saying.
If you watch the game, their celebration right now, home run, I don't know if they do it on doubles because all they hit was dingers last night, is the turbulent airplane celebration because they had turbulence a few weeks ago, and then some of the guys needed IVs because of all the turbulence.
Yeah. Cocktails can get you in the air. Just a random statement. Cocktails can get you in the air. Anyway, Dustin May shoved, so looking like a good pickup there. 6 shutout innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 8 Ks, much better than the first time around. Trevor Story's 20 for 20 stolen bags. Anthony also had 4 walks. Chas McCormick pitched the 9. You had it all in that one. Better than box scores time. It happened, and it happened fast. The Dodgers and the Padres are tied at the top of the National League West, and they will be playing each other 6 times the next 12-ish days. Back-to-back weekends. AJ will be on the call for the second weekend set, but they'll play this weekend as well. That's right. Both of them are 68 and 52 on the season. And with 42 or 3 games left on the schedule, I can't do the quick math because I'm a little bit slow. We have ourselves a fresh season, just like a fresh ball game when it's tied, AJ. We got 40-something games left, and we're going to see who can outlast who for the division. Otherwise, somebody is going to have to play a very scary wild card round, and the Padres have a lot of momentum. Dodgers lost Brock Stewart to the injured list yesterday. We also found out yesterday Tony Gonsolin's done for the year. Obviously, he's been going through it for a while now, but it seems like 2 teams in opposite directions. The Dodgers haven't been playing good ball for the last month and a half now.
No. And what did Jim Bowden say yesterday? Who did he pick to win the West?
Padres.
Why? Because of everything you just said. I mean, listen, it's an interesting point. I don't know what's going to happen, but these next 2 weeks are going to settle a lot. I'm glad I get to see one of these games in San Diego. They're going to set the all-time attendance record a week from Saturday in San Diego when the Dodgers come in town. There's no doubt. It might be by 2 people again, but they will set the all-time attendance record, and they might do it every game up until then. So this is a division everyone thought, again, the Dodgers were going to go 162-0, be the greatest team of all time. Injuries, whatever you want to call it, lackadaisical play, whatever you want to say. Well, they're in a hunt now, and they got to go. And Dave Roberts got to get them going, and the players got to step up and play. So it's going to be a fun stretch. It's good. I'm good. I love races. I love divisional races. I love wild card races. I like chaos. So I am all for this. Let's do this.
I agree. I agree. But I think the Dodgers are going to come out on top. I think the fact that they are now tied, like the Padres did all this to get tied, they still have to do more than what the Dodgers are going to do the rest of the way. Freddie Freeman said it best. We don't win games, it's not going to be tied anymore. And I think the Dodgers have the advantage as far as the longevity of the season. The Padres may do better in the postseason, but watching their game last night, that is suffocating. You give up a lead early to the Padres. I mean, they just run a cavalcade of monster relievers out there. I mean, it's Adam, it's Eli Morgan early. Then you get into the big boys at the end with Miller and Estrada and Morihone and, Robert Suarez. Like, it's such a short game, but it is fun to watch because you're coming in with the best and the guys may get in jams and the next guy gets them out of the jam. It's fun to watch.
I'm a hard disagree. I think the Padres have the momentum right now. There's only 40-something games left. The Dodgers are in a softer portion of their schedule at the moment, but it isn't the case for them. They're 0-5 against the Angels this year. You're supposed to beat the Angels. 0-5 against the Angels? What are you doing? So
the Angels can hang their hat on that in the playoffs this year, Scott.
Yeah, hey.
They were at least 5-1 against the Dodgers this year, no matter what happens tonight.
Are they in the NIT?
What, after the season?
The Angels? The Angels are
right now.
The NIT.
This is their playoffs right now. I mean, you at least get to dominate Southern California and take down the defending champs. They triple played Ohtani, although Ohtani later had the go-ahead smash, but they came back. Joe Adele with the walk-off. They actually walked him off twice, technically. If you were watching that game pitch for pitch, Ben Kasperius walked Taylor Ward. That was a clear-cut ball 4, and then he eventually struck him out, but Adele got to him. So I just think these two teams are in opposite directions, and I got the Padres as the better team right now. Anyway, let's step aside. Let's get to the Rays. Pete Fairbanks waiting for us and joining us in 2 minutes. Hey, we love ripping slab packs on Arena Club. I just ripped one in a Ruby pack. Those are fancy schmancy, Kip. And I pulled a Matt Shaw 2023 Bowman Draft Aqua Lunar Crater Refractor card. And guess what? Guess what? I got a little offer. You get the instant offer right away. Okay. So they're offering me $121 to sell it back, and then I can get a new slab pack. What do I do?
I want to see this thing. Hold on. Look at that. That's a beautiful card. You know what? I think that's a safe bet. I think it's going to make you a little bit of money. I think the more big league time he gets, I'd almost take the deal, though. I'm in it for the chase. I like opening more packs. I think that 121 can buy you a couple more slabs to open. And I think you keep chasing until you get someone you really like. But that's the best part about it for me.
That's right. You can sell it back, $121, and then open up another slab pack. Use the code FOUL to receive 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/foul. Brewers won again, shocker. But the surprising part, AJ, was how much damage they did against Paul Skeens from the jump. He's been the first inning monster. It's the first time he gave him a run this year in the first inning. It's the second longest streak to start a season by going scoreless through first innings.
Well, yeah, they hammered Paul Skeens. I mean, it was one of his shortest outings too, right? Only 4 innings.
Yeah.
They listen. The Brewers are it right now. We just talked about the Padres. The Brewers are it where it's at right now. And pancakes, pocket pancakes, whatever you want to call it, they're just doing it. And Pat Murphy's pushing all the right buttons. Matt Arnold's pushing all the right buttons. They have great pitching. But I don't think anybody thought they would swing it the way they've swung it, especially without Jackson Chourio.
Yeah, they beat the Pirates on a Skeens Day 14-0, Kratz. They're 24-4 with Andrew Vaughn, who homered again. They have a 7.5 game lead over the Cubs. That division race is over, and they've got 2 11-plus game winning streaks on the season now. Last National League team to do that, the 1935 Cubs. I mean, they're setting records. They are having ridiculous amounts of fun. They look insanely good right now. Are they peaking too early?
No, not unless they lose in the first round. Fortunately, they don't have to play a wild card round, which has not been the case recently and has been tough for them. So you get to play one less round. And I don't know why everybody's freaking out about the pocket pancakes. If you watch the show for the last 3 years, I've said this about Pat Murphy every single time. So he's got bagels. He now uses his pockets. He never used to use his pockets, which was disgusting.
All right, we've got Rays closer Pete Fairbanks back in the house on FT. I just wanted to say house to intro this because I know it's been a minute. I was looking at the schedule. I'm like, I've been watching some Rays games here and there, Pete, and I've been home in a minute, so I checked. Do you know the last day on the calendar that you guys played a home game?
No, sure don't.
I'll tell you.
Not even worth the attempt to try. No, it was it July? No, August 3rd, maybe?
Nailed it, yeah. August 3rd, you finished the Dodgers series, and then 3 on the road against the Angels. So in Anaheim, in Seattle. Now, of course, you're in Sacramento. Then you go to San Francisco. At least they kept you on the West Coast for this trip. But what's it like to be on the road for this period of time? You guys have the imbalanced schedule this year for good reason. But what's it like to actually be in it?
I mean, I'm not. It's kind of weird for me, more so just the 3 hours behind the rest of the family. Um, but I mean, it's a road trip. It just happens to be extended. You're used to going on the road, maybe just not for the extended amount of time, and then I get to see a city I've never seen before, so maybe there's a positive there.
Okay, Sacramento. Yeah, I can see that. That's one positive out of Sacramento. Let me know if you have any others. But is there a time? Is there too many days that you're that 3 hours behind where it starts to drain on you a little bit, or it starts to reverse it, and then you guys go back home when it's supposed to be an advantage, and then you're like, crap, I'm still on that 3 hour time difference? Because I never felt like the trips that we took were that bad. It never really affected me that much, but you guys are out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that first series when you're out on the West Coast and you're waking up at 6:30 instead of 9, and you're feeling wide awake, but your days have stretched that little bit. I think we're all excited to hopefully turn this and end this roadie on a high note, and then get back to lovely Florida.
Hey, you love Florida. You moved there, so don't make fun of Florida.
I do love. That was nothing but a positive. I love Florida.
Okay. Don't be Kratz and Braun. Don't be Kratz and Braun. Okay.
I call myself a Floridian now.
That's right. That's what everyone strives to be. People don't move to New Jersey when they retire. Okay, that's for
That's
sure.
right.
They move to Florida, so save it. But no. What you mentioned those days where you get out to the West Coast and the day is stretched. What do you do for those 3 hours? Do you try to go back to sleep? Do you get up and go for a walk? Do you go to the gym? Do you get breakfast early? What do you do because I used to I could sleep anywhere, so I just would force myself back to sleep. It didn't bother me that much. But what do you do as Pete Fairbanks when you wake up at 6:30 instead of 9:30?
Yeah, I mean, I try and go back to sleep. I think the first day out there, I woke up at like 6:15, and then forced myself to not get out of bed for at least a couple more hours, trying to at least feel like I slept more. But yeah, I'm up, I'm walking around, I'm trying to find coffee, seeing what I can find out there to get up to. And speaking
Does it
of
affect you?
Sacramento positives, I found a great coffee shop out here, so that's a big positive for me.
That's 2. We're counting. We're putting check marks out there. We'll keep bringing them up. Do you find yourself getting tired at the end of games, though? I know that's your time. Like when you're sitting in the 6th, 7th inning, and you left the clubhouse and you saw other teams' games ending, and you're sitting there in the 6th or 7th inning, and it's like a nice cool breeze flowing in your face. You're like, I'm good. Okay, I'm awake.
Yeah, no, I've Pavloved myself to the extent that I start doing certain things, and regardless of what time it is, I'm getting ready to roll.
Okay. So your routine keeps you awake. Talk about the trade
Yes.
deadline. Talk about the trade deadline. Pending free agent that you are, went and got a Griffin Jacks. They kind of, Danny Jansen got shipped. And how did you guys perceive it in the clubhouse? And was there other talks that maybe didn't come to fruition?
Yeah, I think overall, I think we took it as a positive, to have Bilal, to have Yandy, to remain with the team for the end of it. I think we kind of took that as a net positive that we were. There's still some belief in this group, and I definitely think that as a group, there's the belief there. Obviously, we haven't played up to what we think we're capable of, and obviously that's something that we're working towards. But yeah, there were some rumors, a lot of rumors, nothing that obviously came to fruition. But it's that what 7-day period really leading up where you start seeing your name in articles on trade rumors, and you're like, well, I guess this could be it.
Does Neander do a good job of communicating with you guys? Does he call like a veteran
Yeah,
like yourself or Yandy in the office and say, "Hey, man, like there's been offers. I'll keep you posted. I'll give you a heads up if something's close." Or is
yeah.
he just like, "Hey, you'll find out on Twitter after I do"?
No, he's great about it. It's and I let my agent do all the liaisons there just so I can kind of push that to the back of the mind, keep it away from being too far to the forefront of your daily activities. So yeah, he's in my agent have a pretty good relationship, so they were able to keep me abreast of anything that I needed to know. And then obviously if things had started really going, I feel like I would have had some more dialogue with Erik himself.
All the closers that went, you kind of had to feel once one closer goes, you're like, wait a minute. Some of those things that Erik said could possibly happen. Are you folding your clothes and leaving them in a nice pile so that you're ready to just pull them right off the locker and put them in a bag? Or like, how close did it ever get in your mind?
You start seeing those names go. I definitely was probably 70-30 that it was probably going to be shipped. I'm obviously glad that it didn't happen. I'm still excited to be a Ray and be able to chase some things here. But yeah, it was we were already on the road, so I tried to maybe overpack a little bit for that trip, even though it was a week long.
Well, yeah. So you were a little nervous. You got a little nervous. I can't blame you. You'd have to leave Florida for
A little bit,
somewhere
a
else.
little bit.
I listen. We all when we have to leave Florida, everyone gets nervous. I get it. I totally get it. So you were prepped. I love that, and I love that you're that Neander is a great guy as far as that goes. Now let's go above Neander. Let's go to Stu Sternberg. Have you guys heard the stuff about the team being sold? Has it been talked about at all, or is it just something that's out of your guys' control and you guys worry about it when that actually goes down?
Yeah, so we had a meeting once like that. I don't know who reported it first, but kind of when that first broke earlier in the year, had a meeting or just, kind of get it out there that it's not going to affect, what we're doing day to day. And kind of since then, we've obviously, we're going to let it be what it is. And it's nothing that, the 26 of us can control in our day to day operations. So we're just trying to keep that, obviously it's going to happen. Well, as of now, it's going to happen. It's been announced but not finalized. So we're just, hanging out, and then we'll see what changes happen when it actually goes through.
Pete, when it comes to the trade deadline, fans like to know buy, sell, and the Rays will often thread the needle. Although last year they sold, right? This year the team was playing well for a while. I know they haven't played as well lately, but I liked that the team didn't, sell pieces away related to this conversation. I'm going to relate it to what AJ asked too. Do you think any of that had to do with saying, hey, you know what? This team's going to probably move ownership groups next year. Let's try and keep this together and see if we can have a little fun and do something special.
Yeah, I think that is definitely obviously not an owner, but I think if I were, I think that would be my, if it's, potentially my last run at it, I'm gonna, try and make a run at it. So, if that was a thought process, obviously the guys in the clubhouse are grateful for it, and hopefully we can get a little streaky here and see what happens.
If you were asked at the trade deadline, hey, I want to go somewhere, is there a team or a player? Most guys shake at the like, oh, I don't want to say a team. Is there a player you'd want to go play with and go, you know what? I'd like to try to win a World Series with that guy.
Oh, a player. Um,
And it can be somebody that you face that you're like, man, if I don't ever have to face him, that's just like a net positive for me. My numbers would go through the roof.
yeah, let's go for strictly for that. Let's go Corey Seager because
Okay.
I think I got him out for the first time in my career this year after facing him for however many it's been. I'm pretty sure that it would have been the first time I've gotten him out was this year.
And he is a winning player. He definitely has
Yeah,
done
he's
some
won it
damage.
before, that's for sure.
Yeah, one of the most clutch hitters of our era of baseball here the last 10, 15 years. Pete, how is Griffin Jacks? So new teammate, great stuff. Looks like one of those classic Rays finds where he's going to work out well for a bullpen that always seems to replenish.
Yeah, great find. Mainly because he knows how to play cribbage, and we lost a lot of cribbage players at the deadline, so it was nice to add one back in so we could still play a four-person crib. But yeah, I mean the guy's super super talented, works very hard, very diligent with everything that he does on a day-to-day basis, and he is an incredible arm talent and might throw the best breaking ball in the game. So anytime you got those things going for you, I think that's a huge boon for the team.
All right. First of all, a couple of things on Griffin Jacks. One, he's played in Minnesota. Everybody in Minnesota knows how to play cribbage. So you should have known that as soon as you saw his name pop up. Like
That's
anybody
true. That's true.
that is from Minnesota, around Minnesota, played for Minnesota. That's the other day, a buddy of mine was playing cribbage, and I'm like, oh, dude, you should do this. And it was in where was I? Just in Texas. It was, I think the Phillies guys were playing. They're like, you know how to play? Or no, the Rangers guys are playing. They're like, you know how to play cribbage? I'm like, dude, I came up with the Twins. Everybody knows how to play cribbage in Minnesota. So
The upper
should have
Midwest
known
and
that.
cribbage go hand in hand.
Yes, and then also when next time you see Griffin Jacks, we asked him this on the air here. He hates the taste of water. So next time you see him, be like, this water is tasty, and then just see what because I guess when he was in the Air Force, they had to drink so much water, he just got sick of it. So he just wanted any
That's
other
it.
taste.
Okay.
So one of the
Yeah.
famous facts about him is he hates the taste of water.
All right. That he is. It's great. We went out to dinner when we got into Sacramento, and he is a sparkling water guy. So I finally got somebody else that at the team dinners will drink sparkling water. And I can stop getting made fun of for it.
You should be made fun of. Nobody drinks sparkling water.
Oh,
Nobody
stop!
drinks sparkling water.
No.
Stop! I'm with you on the Florida take. I'm not with you on that take.
You're a spark. That's there. See, look who drinks sparkling water right there.
I love Florida and I love sparkling water. And Kratz, do you like sparkling water?
I do. I don't drink it all the time. You can't chug sparkling water, but it's a nice.
Well, no, I know.
It's a nice treat.
Yeah, it's a good dinner.
Nice
It's a good dinner.
water.
It's a good assist to a nice dinner. I'm not gonna take it out to the bullpen with me.
No, it's not. It's not hydrating me. We thought you would be more high class than that, AJ.
No.
Just
water.
Just
Give me
well
the
water for you. Just
that's
well
fine.
water for you.
Right out of the hose.
I mean, Essentia. It's not. He's not drinking hose water. That's Essentia. That's some high quality still water right there.
As funny as we're talking about this, listen, the water tastes different in every bottle. I'm sorry, every bottled water tastes a little bit different. I don't care what you're saying. There's certain ones I like and certain ones I don't like. So you have to kind of, yes, I'm picky about my water. I apologize. Yes, call me bougie.
Yeah,
call me
and lowest on that list is Dasani every time.
Well, that's because it's not. It's just tap water. They run through a filter and they say, "Here you go."
It's from Florida. That's why.
No, Zephyr Hills is from Florida. It's delicious.
Right. Big difference between purified and spring, etc. Yes, Kratz?
No, last one for me, Pete. You had said it. You kind of glazed over it a little bit. You said we make a run here. You guys are 6.5 out. We talk about how far out is too far out. What are those conversations like in the locker room? Because you can look at different numbers and it can say you guys have been super unlucky. You guys should actually be 7 games over 500 if you look at some of the numbers. So is it something that you guys say, hey, if this happens or we can do this or we can change this, we see this? Because that's a lot of scoreboard watching. You're looking at everybody, but the Marlins and the Rockies and they're not even in your league, so it doesn't matter. But what are you guys doing? How is that coming together? And some people say, "Come on, Pete, you know that's not going to happen."
No, I said the other day, the last thing that we need to do is to look 42 games out or 40 games out now, whatever it is. Nothing starts. Obviously, I mean, you have to have a big picture, right? The big picture is to make the playoffs, to win, etc. But then how do we go about it? We go about it by playing good baseball every day. And we think that, when we can get to you know, that mindset of we're just going to do it every day. We're not going to go and think 3 weeks down the road, think a month down the road. We're going to sit there and go do what we need to do, on a daily basis to win a ball game. I think that you take that and you compound it and you go from there, as opposed to scoreboard watching and looking at all this stuff that you can't control. We're just going to try and do what we can do, and have our good at bats, get ahead in the count, execute with two strikes, et cetera, and focus on the stuff that internally we can control, as opposed to you know anything else. And then hopefully, when you're moving that to an internal goal and focus on what you can do, you can compound it after that.
Pete, my last one, and then AJ's got one for you to finish up. So you play the Yankees a lot. They clearly have had some issues last couple seasons with sloppy play, sometimes fundamentals, etc. Right? They'll even admit that themselves. My question is, from a fan perspective, fans just think the manager is the one in charge of all that. I'm generalizing here, but I've gone back and forth with some. Can you speak to how much influence a manager has for a 30-year-old player who's been playing his whole life and makes a fundamental mistake, or maybe just isn't as much of like the fundamental player and is more of like a power only guy? I guess you know where I'm going here. You played for Kevin Cash for a long period of time. I'm sure the team has gone through stretches where it's sloppy. Is that the manager's fault?
I don't think that you can scapegoat a manager for us not being locked in, right? I think that there's things that you can scapegoat a manager for, et cetera, and they usually are the ones that end up taking the fall if we're not doing our jobs. But for me, if we're not locked in and if we're making the mental mistakes and we're doing stuff that we shouldn't be doing out there, that's different than you know the stuff that a manager has control over, whether it's moves that they're making, et cetera. Like our the stuff that we do out there, if we're not locked in, that's on us.
Agreed. Agreed. Speaking of locked in, all right, let me ask you this. You've been on the road for a month, okay? Pretty much the whole month. What do you do about the Lego situation? Because I know you're a
Oh,
big Lego guy. So do you bring Legos with you on the road, or you just do them at home? How does this work? Because you got to have something to get your mind off of trying to close out the night. So what do you
mhm.
do with the Lego situation on the road for a month?
So road for me is typically I'll try and find card shops. I'll go more on the Pokemon side, leave the Legos at home. But my wife and son went to a Lego convention down in Tampa this past week, and I have might be the most jealous I've ever been on a road trip, because there were some incredible mocks, and then anytime you get to see a really happy kindergartner is a good time. So wish I could have been there for that one. But my son got back, and Isaac, he gets back. He spent probably, I don't know, a few days, maybe a week, working on this like medieval town, village, whatever. And he goes there and he sees all these other builds, and he comes back and he looks at my wife and goes, I need to tear this down and start over. I can do way better than that.
That
Wow.
is epic.
Wow. And then your wallet's like, man, you can't do way better than this, because you're gonna have to go back in the
Yeah, I
archives to
and
find some of that
I'm gonna
stuff.
have to be making bulk before I know it. I'm gonna be having to buy specific colors in bulk so this kid can finish all of his creations. But I'm always down for it. I think that'll be a great time.
Yeah, that's great for the brain. You got to
Why
let them cook.
Pokemon? So wait, I don't know anything about Pokemon. So it was like different shops
Mhm.
have different cards.
Don't say
I don't know anything about Pokemon.
Ugh, don't say that. Don't say Pokemon.
What is it?
Pokemon.
Why not? Why not?
It's Pokemon. It's
Oh,
not Pokey.
yeah.
It's like nails
It's
on a
not the. It's
chalkboard.
not a. He's saying it like it's going to be a bowl of raw fish and rice. Is that what I'm?
Yeah,
Is that what I'm
Yes,
yeah.
getting?
yes.
It's a Jamaican bowl of raw fish. Pokemon.
Yeah, you never know. You go to different shops, they got different singles. They might have different sealed stuff. It's obviously in a resale market. There's no It's just like a sports card, right? You go to a different spot, they got different stuff that they're selling for singles. You might be able to get boxes you can't get elsewhere. So keeps me busy, and it's gets me out of the hotel room and gets me off of my college football dynasties.
Yeah, it's the collector game. The collector game's fun, and you get to hop to different cities, so you get to run into different shops. I like it. Pete,
I'm
great
amazed.
catching up.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm amazed how many players now are into the collector thing. Because I mean, listen, I'm the old guy, but I'm just saying that I'm the old guy. Guys didn't care. Guys weren't collecting cards and Pokemon or whatever, Pokemon or Pokemon or Pokemon or Pikachu.
Yeah,
or whatever
guys
the
were
hell you
going
wanna
out
call
till
it.
4 or 5 in the morning. They don't really do that anymore.
Whoa, no, Scott, no. We were all sitting in our room watching the television
Reading.
and our scouting reports, reading. Yes, thank you. But guys weren't collectors. It's cool. I think it's cool. Guys collect Pokemon, they collect Pokemon, and they collect their own cards. I mean, it's cool.
You are a collector. You just collect different stuff, AJ. You go for the Lego sets, and we got
I
guys
collect
out
dust,
there
man.
that are more cards. Yeah, that's a lot of dust. Legos collect dust like nobody's business.
Exactly.
And AJ
Stick to
glues him.
cards.
And AJ glues him. He's a craggle.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yep.
yes. Because my
Lord
kids pick them
business,
up and they
AJ
break.
Pierzynski, Lord business.
Went for it as Halloween one year. Did the whole thing. I was
That's
Lord
right.
Business. Had the
Did the
helmet
whole
and everything.
thing. Yes.
Did the whole went full.
All right.
Scott's
Well,
going, what are they talking
this
about?
nerd out session is brought to you by. Thanks, Pete. Good stuff, man. Good catching up with you.
Thanks,
Appreciate the
guys.
time, dude. We'll catch you soon. Get home soon. Get some home cooked food soon.
I'm doing
all right?
my best. I got 4 more
Yes.
days.
Yes. All right. We're
All right,
rooting
see you
for
guys.
Talk soon,
Appreciate it.
bud. You too. Josh Hader to the injured list, shoulder strain, crushing blow for the Houston Astros that we learned about yesterday. We knew that there was shoulder discomfort. Kratz, this is not good news for a team fighting for a division against a team that is thriving at the moment. Tough injury.
Tough injury, especially with the Mariners chasing them down. I mean, you can never lose your closer. I don't care who it is. No team, even the Padres would be like, man, we didn't want to lose that guy. We didn't want to lose Suarez. We didn't want to lose any of those guys. If you are in the playoffs, you need every one of those bullpen pieces, and he's massive for this team. I mean, what he's done is it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them, especially now after the trade deadline. This is why it's always good to have that extra trade deadline. You're not going to find a closer, but you're going to find another bullpen piece that pushes other guys up. We'll see. We'll see. This is why I have the Mariners taking the Astros and taking the West this year.
This is a big blow. It's a big blow. They got Eric Getty back. He didn't look great, but losing Hader, a guy they've been counting on. I guess this makes a Brady the closer. Other guys have to move back an inning. It's a big deal. This is a big deal for the Astros and for the AL West in general. The Mariners are going, bring them on, bring them on.
It makes it tough to win back-to-back days. When you lose a huge piece of your bullpen, it's tough to win back-to-back days. And when the Mariners are running like they're running, not saying they're going to run hot, but to overtake them, you got to be able to win back-to-back days because you're not going to hit a ton of home runs every single night. Like you need 2 or 3 guys each night. And when one of those is down, now you only have 1 or 2 that you can really count on. You got to blow it out on the nights you're winning by a run. It's tough to win that next night then.
Top-heavy bullpen for the Astros, and I mean that in a complimentary way. Abreu and Hader are so damn good.
Oh,
that signing has worked out so well, the Hader signing for the Astros, but it's tough timing. So hopefully he's going to get himself back. Shoulder strain, not a great word. So we'll find out what the deal is for Josh as far as the timetable.
Shoulder anything for a pitcher is not a great thing.
That's right.
Presley got
yeah.
DFA'd. I bet they pick him up and he has a 2 ERA.
That is a good call. Yeah, he didn't get picked up yet, did he?
No, I didn't see him get picked up. It'd be crazy. I mean, but if there's a team that can do it, it's the Astros.
Yeah, you got to reassemble the old
anywhere.
boys. They're getting the whole team back together, the whole band.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
All right, so we've got more on this lawsuit with Shohei Ohtani defending himself against the real estate developer and the guy that was going to do the sales, and they both got fired, and they said that Ohtani's camp intervened. They said it was really coming from his representation, but your representation represents – who does representation represent, guys? Easiest question I'll ever ask.
The player?
Yeah, you.
The person?
I mean, right.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it, they're speaking for you, even though it's not him involved. I don't think anybody expected Ohtani on phone calls being like, hey, if you don't do what I say, I'm pulling out of this real estate deal and getting you fired. But somebody is doing that and representing you, and they're accusing this situation of happening. So Sam Blum doing the good work for The Athletic. He spoke to Josh Schiller, head of sports and gaming at a law firm that I can't pronounce, but they represent the two guys that are going after Ohtani and Nesbolello, his representation. Schiller said they tried to negotiate a resolution privately. So they tried to settle, and they were unable to resolve the matter. He also said that Bolello became a destructive force by inserting himself into every aspect of the relationship. These are all allegations. He alleged that they responded to business matters with stonewalling and hostility while threatening default if he didn't get his way. So I guess not paying for the property as well. They still caused, a lot of ruckus here if they actually did get these two guys fired, which is what they are accusing the defendants of. Large portions of the lawsuit are redacted. The plaintiffs filed a subsequent request to lift the redactions from the initial complaint. That means that the law firm and the developer that are suing Ohtani wanted things to be stated publicly, and there's certain information that is, at least at the moment, being held back. So we'll see what happens there. And later, the lawyer for them also said that he doesn't think they have a case for countersuing, and he doesn't think they have a case for an NIL breach. NIL as in name, image, likeness, where, Ohtani originally signed on, where they could do certain things with him for this real estate project as far as marketing it and saying, hey, Ohtani lives here. But I guess Ohtani's camp thinks they went too far. Getting ugly. And the thing that stood out to me was that they were talking, and they were, I guess, working on a settlement, at least according to the plaintiff's side, and they didn't figure it out. So it starts to make things more public. I guess they could have avoided all of this. Now, the other side could have been asked for a lot of money. They're fighting it. But this is messy. This is not clean as we learn more about what's going on here. And AJ, I know we talked about it yesterday. The comments are literally the political spectrum. You have one side that wants to accuse Ohtani of everything for the last 2 years, right? He's in on this, he's in on that. I think that's crazy. You have the other side that's like, how dare anybody even talk about this topic? Like, you're unfairly targeting him. Well, maybe somebody's unfairly targeting him, but we're just covering the story. And then most people are in the middle like, this is a pretty crappy situation to be involved in, and things are going to, get very public and very ugly if there's a rich history here between the two parties. And this real estate project's been going on for 10 plus years, and Ohtani's been signed on since 2023. So there's going to be some history between these two of back and forth that would think you don't want public. But if he truly believes that he's in the right, he's going to fight it. It's just that he's not going to be able to maintain a lot of privacy during that time period.
No, you're right. There's a lot of things that could come out, and Ohtani's a very private person. But what did he sign? What did Ohtani sign? What did Nesbolello sign on his behalf? Right? What was the agreement they had? You said yesterday, Scott, that there was that I believe you said there was a video of Ohtani talking about this place and how excited he was for it. So I don't know. He can't say, if there's that video, then he can't say he didn't know anything about it. Because at some point, Nesbolello had to come to him and say, hey, we need to make this video for this.
Oh, yeah.
place.
He knows about it. Yeah.
So,
and it's the rumors that there's some type of promotional voiceover or something like that, right? There was some type of marketing agreement that was made. We'll find out more of the details of what that agreement was. I don't think everything's been released yet. But yeah, let's not act like someone is signing houses to his name.
No, I know. This whole thing is, I'm just fascinated by what's going to come out of this, because I don't know. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I just play when you and Kratz get into a fight, and I'm like a divorce lawyer, so I have to play that on the show. But other than that, I don't know enough about this, but it's going to be fascinating once all the details start coming out of this and what they are trying to get out of Ohtani, what Ohtani's trying to, say he did, what Nesbalolo says he did. What now the company, of course, the company that came out said, "Oh no, everything's fine. This is a great because they have how much money invested? $250 million, $17 million homes. This isn't like it's it's mobile homes in places that are very affordable for the normal person. This is a place that is exclusive as it gets, right? So of course the group that is going to come out and say, "Oh, everything's perfect. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Just keep on building," right? So of course they're going to say that. So what happens next is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more investigative work by good journalists like Sam Blum to keep figuring things out. And Kratz, the general public's going to be interested in this. This is one of the most famous human beings on the planet.
Yes. And when you're under a microscope, and I think part of this, not saying it would go away, but Shohei very rarely makes himself available to answer any questions. AJ has said this countless times. AJ has been an all-star. He was a borderline superstar. My word really doesn't matter. Like, I can come out and say something, people don't really care. But when you're a star, people want to hear what you have to say. If he would speak more, I think there'd be less people on the side of, "Oh, he was definitely involved with the Ipe stuff. He's definitely involved with this. He is this bad guy." The only reason people are saying that is because they don't know anything. And everybody on the other side is like, "No, he's perfect. Why is he perfect?" Have you ever heard him say he's perfect? Have you ever seen him put himself out there in a situation? No, like he has a shroud of secrecy that I think situations like this may be able to be diffused in the public eye if he would come out and just chatter, just talk with the boys.
Yeah, you'll probably get a statement or something. Obviously, it's a lawsuit, so right now you're not going to get much. And, you can be strategic with when you put the lawsuit out. It happens to come out when the Angels are playing the Dodgers. We're in the thick of the baseball season. You usually have a time period where if you feel like there's wrongdoing, you can sue. So that's the right of the plaintiff. And then you can defend yourself and countersue. So to be continued, we learned a little bit more from Sam Blum, getting some quotes, and I'm sure we'll learn
People are
a
going to
lot
start
more
digging.
once they settle. Oh yeah,
Like you said, though, people are going to start digging here pretty quick, pretty deep into this, Scott, because there's a lot of money involved in this.
and there's a lot redacted. That was the other thing that stood out. So if there's a lot redacted, that means most likely it's eventually going to come out again unless there is a settlement. And sometimes this stuff starts to eke its way to publicity, and then it gets pulled back where the other side's like, I don't want to deal with this. Let's settle. That often is the case in lawsuits, but if not, it is going to be a to be continued situation. We'll keep covering it. So anyway, that's step 2, day 2 of the saga. Tim Kurkjian joining us next. Figure we'll bring out the craziest stat of the week right before we talk to Tim Kurkjian, who will be back with the TV crowd here in 2 minutes. And we'll talk Little League World Classic or Little League Baseball Classic coming up on ESPN on Sunday. But the Twins are 44-125 against the Yankees since 2002. AJ, your boys got smacked again. Your OG franchise can't really handle the Yanks. They're getting them hot.
They are. I don't know what to say. This is one of the most unbelievable stats of all time. Just players turn over, managers turn over, front offices have turned. Well, I guess the Yankees have stayed the same, but the front offices of the Twins have turned over, and they've changed stadiums. Both organizations have got new stadiums in this time, and nothing has changed. The Yankees beat the Twins. Same owner. Yeah, but the Yankees beat the Twins. So that's it. The Yankees beat the Twins.
The Pohlads haven't taken one at bat. This is an anomaly that we get to look at. But shocker, AJ's involved with another team that has a brutal record, 41-121 White Sox, AJ's team, 44-125 Twins, AJ's team.
I had nothing to do with either one of those things. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Once you leave, they all suck. So stop leaving. Stop quitting.
Yeah.
Stay with the team. Help them out. One time.
Trust me. I didn't want to leave the Twins. I was traded away. Still, they got what they got from Mick Abel and Tait. So go Abel and Tait. See what they turn those guys into.
So their record against the Yankees produces a .260 winning percentage since 2002, including playoffs, and that includes 9 straight losses. Against all other teams since 2002, the Twins have a .514 winning percentage. What? It's not like we're looking at this team like, oh, this is one of the worst teams ever. This franchise has been a joke for 20 years. Like, no, they consistently will hang around. Not against the Yankees. We'll ask Tim about it. I'm sure.
Especially in the
Tim's
playoffs. Look at just use the record in the playoffs. Use the playoff record. It's even worse.
Sorry, Twins fans. I know today's tough, but we cover the news. Legendary Tim Kurkjian joining us right now. He'll be part of ESPN's Baseball Night coverage live on site from Williamsport this Sunday for the Little League Classic. Excited to get into that. Real quick before we do, Tim, great to see you. Great to have you on. Did you hear our conversation at all about that ridiculous Twins record since 2002? I'm sure you've been following that one.
Yeah, it's absurd. I can't understand it. I was driving home last night from New York listening to the Yankees-Twins game, and Paul Molitor was doing the color, and he made kind of the same point that AJ did, that, look, this doesn't make any sense. He goes, the players aren't even aware of it. The Yankee players aren't aware of it, but it just keeps on happening. And this is why baseball is so great. And so many things are just unexplainable. And this is one of them. There's no reason the Twins should be this bad against the Yankees and the Yankees this good against the Twins. But this is why baseball is so good, is it doesn't make any sense so many days of the week.
Yeah, this is wacky news. While we're on them too, what did you think of the team announcing that they're going to keep the ownership group intact there? I mean, we had been led to believe for the past year that it was going to be a new leaf for this ball club. Were you surprised, as I was, to see that they're actually going to hold on?
I was surprised. I am surprised, but maybe we shouldn't be. You know, I live outside of Washington, D.C., and the Nationals have been up for sale for a long time, and then they didn't get the price they wanted and pulled the team back and said, okay, we're not selling the team. Artie Moreno did the same thing with the Angels. He's going to sell the team, and then he decided, I'm not going to sell the team. And then the Pohlad say, we're going to sell the team, and now we're not going to sell the team. It's possible that all of these owners are recognizing maybe they're not getting exactly what they want for the team, and then they're going to hang on until, say, the price goes up. But maybe this isn't a shock, but it was a surprise to me because it seemed pretty understandable that they're going to sell the team, and now they're just looking for investors instead.
Tim, we just kind of talked about this. We talked about this earlier, but Rob Manfred came out a couple months ago and said, oh, it's definitely going to happen. It's not if, then when. And he said, I know more than anybody else did. So something changed behind the scenes? Because when Rob Manfred usually says something like that, it doesn't go off the rails like kind of this one did. It normally sticks to exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, something must have happened, just like something happened with the Nationals and something happened with the Angels. And again, these are really sharp businessmen who are used to winning like every negotiation that they're in. They get the last dollar on everything that they do in every business that they run. But baseball doesn't often work that way. You don't get exactly what you want in baseball. Sometimes you have to overpay to get a player. Sometimes you have to sell something for less than what you think it's worth. But these guys are used to getting whatever they want, and if they don't get it, they're pulling the team back. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what's happening.
Do you feel like there should be some kind of stipulation because of how much you love the game of baseball, how much we love it, as players want to see winners? There should be some type of stipulation that owners have to try to win. because this is a sport. This is a competitive, like more of a penalty for not winning. Not saying there's relegation. I'm not saying all that kind of stuff, but do you feel like there should be some type of penalty? Because when you look at a team like the Pohlads, an organization like the Pohlads, they're not setting their players up or their city up for having a successful team.
Well, I would like to see everyone try to win, Erik, but it's hard to prove whether you're trying to win or not. 30 years ago, Sandy Alderson, then the general manager of the A's, I guess at the time, said, what is a successful franchise? Is it a team that makes the playoffs every year, or is it a team that never makes the playoffs but makes money every year? What is the successful franchise? A team that loses money but wins, or a team that makes money and loses? And I think that discussion still has to be had today, because I think that's still a relevant question.
Yeah, invest, and then the franchise value will soar. We've seen that happen. Don't forget, fans, the Dodgers were a prime example of that. The Dodgers were in a very different place 15 years ago when they were run by Frank McCourt. And look at them now. They are an absolute powerhouse. Tim, I'm going to take us to the Little League Classic that's coming up on Sunday on ESPN. You've got two great teams, too, that are in the thick of a playoff race with the Mets and the Mariners. But first, give us the goods on what we can expect there, what the coverage will be like, how much you look forward to this.
Well, I've covered every one of the Little League Classics, and they're all great. Trust me, fellas, if you haven't been there for when the teams arrive, it's stunning. It's breathtaking. As soon as they get off the bus, they are just surrounded by kids. And before long, the players are into it just as much as the kids are, because they all watched the Little League World Series when they were 12 years old. And the Little League World Series is on in every clubhouse in the major leagues every single day, because it fascinates the big leaguers, as it should. And when these guys walk in, like Aaron, I was there last year when Aaron Judge walked in. It was unbelievable. He couldn't take a step without being just besieged by people. And he did a great job handling it. And all players do the best they can. A couple of years ago, Bryce Harper was here, and he's sitting in the stands watching the Pennsylvania team. Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. And one of these kids from Pennsylvania, hits a rocket shot. And Bryce Harper's there to see it. So at the Little League Classic that night, at the real Major League ballpark, the kids are all there, because only kids are invited to the Little League Classic. Another reason it works so well. And Bryce Harper walks past the front row, and the kid that he saw hit a line drive, Bryce Harper goes up to him on his way to home plate in a major league game and says, boy, I hope I hit one as hard as you hit one today. And it was the greatest thing that ever happened to that kid. And then Harper brought him an autographed bat and gave it to him as he sat in the stands and watched a major league game. That's what the Little League Classic is about to me. It's about the kids watching the big leaguers, but it's just as important that the big leaguers are engaging with the kids. It is a wonderful, wonderful scene.
They show that often on TV. Is there something that you're banging the drum about that needs to be shown, that is your favorite part of this whole weekend, this whole Little League Classic, that we're not seeing on TV? Because you get a lot of background stuff. Is there something that we should be looking out for, or that you're hoping that they show on TV?
Well, we weren't able to show this a few years ago, but now we do. See, I ride the bus now every year in from the airport with the team, with the kids on the bus. So now the last year it was the Tigers, and I were sitting on the bus with a bunch of kids, and they were asking, of course, the greatest questions in the world, because kids are so uninhibited. They just say whatever they want to say. It's great. But what I wish we had a camera on was the first year I went on a bus. We didn't have the camera there, but Rhys Hoskins of the Phillies, who was a star player at the time, told a kid, let me see how good a dancer you are. And this 12-year-old starts to dance while the bus is driving. And then he gets into a dance contest with Rhys Hoskins on the bus. It was absolutely priceless to see a big leaguer and a 12-year-old having a dance contest on the bus. The 12-year-old won, as I recall, as most 12-year-olds should against most adults, because no adults are good dancers. No male can dance, in my opinion. But Reese Hoskins was pretty good. The 12-year-old was better.
Tim, if Rosenthal was on right now, I'd say it's because you love this event so much because Ken could look him in the eye, but I'm not going to make a short joke today, so I understand. I'm gonna save that for when Ken comes on because I know you're much taller than Ken is, so I'm gonna let that one pass before we go.
I am the same height. I'm the same height as Ken Rosenthal. And a few years ago, a very ambitious researcher at ESPN looked this up, that 52% of the kids at the Little League World Series that year were taller than me. I think that was unnecessary research. So one of the kids, one of the years, I'll never forget this. This kid's name was Terrence. He was from South Carolina. He was legit 5'11", 185 pounds, and he hit a ball 375 feet at the Little League World Series. He hit it like 150 feet over the fence. It was unbelievable. So I talked to him on live TV, like after the game, and jokingly, I said to Terrence, 5'11", 185, I said, when was the last time you were my size? And he looked at me, he thought about it for a second, he goes, I was in the second grade. That's what he said. So there's no telling what the kids might say when you ask them a question, because that's the best part about this is the answers that they give when you ask them a question. Some of those kids are really funny and really clever.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So that's great. All right, these two teams, the Mariners and the Mets, playing in this game. Mariners are on fire, great trade deadline. The Mets have been wishy-washy, to be nice, to what they've done since the trade deadline. The Mariners, we keep thinking, have a great chance to win the West. Can the Mets make up the ground on the Phillies in the East and make a deep playoff run the way they're assembled? And can the Mariners, my gosh, I can't believe I'm about to say this, actually get to the World Series and win it?
I think the Mariners are good enough to get to the World Series and win it, because I'm just not sure, even in a stout National League, that there's a team out there that you look at and say, this team's going to win the World Series. The Dodgers are still the best team for me once they get everybody healthy and playing the way they should be. But the Padres are really good. The Phillies are really good. The Brewers are the best team in baseball. The Cubs can really hit. But the Mariners have something different now. They have a really good starting rotation, which hasn't been great this year, and it's eventually is going to be at its best before this year's over. The bullpen is loaded with power arms. But most important, they're 1 through 6 in the order. This might be the most formidable lineup they've had that I've seen from the Mariners in maybe 25 years. So I think they have a chance to go to the World Series for the first time. And yes, I think they have a chance to win it. Now, again, you could say that about 6, 7, 8 other teams right now, but to leave the Mariners out of the equation would be a mistake. As for the Mets, I don't see why they don't score more runs. And maybe last night was the start of good offense to come. I don't think they're going to run down the Phillies because of the Phillies starting rotation. But I think the Mets are going to make the playoffs. And if you make the playoffs in today's day and age, you have a chance to go a long way.
Are the Mets a team that will be disappointed to be a wild card, in the sense that they put all this money into Juan Soto, but at the beginning of the season, they knew their starting pitching wasn't. They had Sean Manaea. They were hoping David Peterson was awesome, and he's been awesome. From there, they didn't solidify a pitching type of player that is equivalent to the Juan Soto type of position player.
If they just make the playoffs, I don't think it's going to be a big disappointment because, as a wild card, because they played so poorly here. They had the best record in baseball in the middle of June, and 2 months later, they're struggling to make the playoffs. So I think if they're completely honest, they'll just say, all right, get us in the playoffs. We'll take our chances from there. Now, if you ask them, should we have won this division? They'll probably say, well, yeah, but we played poorly for 2 months. That has to end. And I think it will. I think they're going to score a bunch more runs. And I'm with you, Erik. I don't see their starting pitching as being so good that they're just going to overtake the Phillies and then, run the table in October. But they're still a dangerous team. Like I said, you get in the playoffs in October in baseball anymore, you have a chance.
Tim, how do you think the first season has gone for Juan Soto? I mean, we haven't talked about him as much lately, but what would be your evaluation of year one of the biggest contract of all time?
Well, he hasn't been the player I thought he would be. I mean, he's been productive. He's hit a bunch of homers, a lot of them with nobody on base. He is way better than a 250 hitter or whatever he's hitting right now. It's right around there. And I think he's going to get hot. I just think he's too good of a hitter to struggle like this. And when I say struggle, he should be hitting over 300. He's that good of a hitter. I just think it's been an adjustment. I think like it was in San Diego, it was an adjustment there. You know, when he walks in, there are a bunch of other star players there. I think it takes him and everyone else a little bit of time to figure out where everybody's going. Although it didn't take much time with the Yankees. He was really good right away and all season for them. Same thing hasn't happened with the Mets. But again, there's 6 weeks to go. And I fully expect him to get really hot and carry them into the playoffs. I've been saying that all year. I think it's going to happen. It just really, truly hasn't happened yet.
Hey, Tim, I have the Yankees Cardinals this weekend on Fox on Saturday. Yankees, what's going on in New York? We keep saying don't blame Aaron Boone. It's just the way the roster was assembled. But can this team be dangerous if they get into the postseason? Because right now they're teetering on the edge also with the Guardians chasing them down. Do you think the Yankees can be dangerous if they get into the postseason?
Yeah, again, AJ, everyone's dangerous in the postseason because
Yeah,
there's
but Tim,
but there are no great teams out there. Do
True.
I think the Yankees are going to make the playoffs? Yes, barely I do. Would I make them the favorite when they get to October? Absolutely not. But if you tell me that the Tigers are just going to overwhelm people in October, the answer is no. Neither are the Mariners or the Astros or the Rangers or the Blue Jays or anybody else. With no dominant team, I think the Yankees could be dangerous if Aaron Judge is at his best and Giancarlo Stanton swings a bat like he always does in October, seemingly, and Anthony Volpe's been hot lately. But there's also just as good a chance that the Yankees won't even make the playoffs, or they get there and their bullpen lets them down, or they become the all-or-nothing Yankees who don't seem to be able to get a big hit when they need them and still live and die with a homer and then make 2 terrible base-running mistakes in one weekend. So they are a flawed team. There's no doubt. I'm just saying all the teams in the American League are flawed, giving the Yankees a chance.
That's right. The American League has not looked like it usually does really the last couple of years now, at least in my opinion. We'll see, if that changes going forward. Mm-hmm. Tim, awesome to have you on. Thank you for double coverage this week on the FT Network. You were great on Fair Territory the other day, and just want to remind everyone on your way out, you're going to be part of ESPN's Baseball Tonight coverage live on site from Williamsport. We talked about it earlier in this conversation. It sounds awesome. It's always super fun. It is must watch, 7:00 Eastern Sunday. It's the Mets and the Mariners. Thank you so much, Tim. Good to see you.
All right, boys. See you. Thank you.
See you. Thank you. BetMGM locks. Parlays from the boys didn't hit. I went nice and simple. Cleveland's got to win. Their playoffs are now. They edged the Marlins by a run. AJ, you were bold there. You had a lot going on the board.
I hit one of them.
You did? 1 for 3. That's good.
1 for 3 makes you a Hall of Famer.
It does. Nobody hits 333 anymore. Nobody hits 300 anymore. Pap's up. We're down, but we're in striking distance. So, AJ, what are you cooking up tonight?
I wasn't prepared to go first, but I will go first.
You don't have to go first. You want to?
No, I'm good. Okay. I'm going over 5.5 punch outs for Shohei Ohtani because nobody under scrutiny can lock in better than Shohei, and the Angels strike out a lot. And then over 8.5 for the Mariners, or under 8.5 because Logan Gilbert versus Rogers, and Rogers been pitching well. Logan Gilbert needs a bounce back, so I'm going under 8.5, and that gets me to plus 240 something. 249. Okay. 249. So over punch outs for Shohei, under 8.5 in Baltimore.
Got it. Okay. Kratz?
I got a parlay also. I'm going over 17.5 outs for Nick Pivetta. They used almost every one of the bullpen pieces, so they're going to need a little bit more from him. He's gone over 6 innings, 7 of his last 8 times, and under 4.5 strikeouts for Walker Buehler. The under has hit 9 out of the last 9 times for Walker Buehler, and that's coming out at plus 180, I think. 170 maybe.
Okay. I'll do mine during the next seg, but how come you guys always guess you guys are always like, I think it's plus. Like you text the pick over so we can put it on the board. Why don't you just check your phone?
Like 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
So,
it's forever
just
ago, Scott.
Oh, come on.
It's not like
Don't
producer
stepbrothers
lady
me.
never has to say every day to Scott, please send me your lock, Scott. 2
She
seconds
doesn't
before.
say that every day.
Every day.
She does that
Every
once
day.
a week. It's
Every
once
day.
out of 5 days. I'm a little
Every day.
busy in the mornings and I forget. But if I
Well, we're
forget
busy. We forget.
if I understand, but if I forget what the juice is, I just check my phone.
That's what I was just doing. So I just did.
Plus 170.
Plus
Good job.
249.
Good job. Great.
Plus 249.
Very nice. Annoying little brother here. Be right back.
Are you ever?
Hot corner time. We had some history yesterday. Congrats to Polar Bear Pete Alonso, who is alone on his own private iceberg. Good call from Gary Cohen. Last night, 253 and 254 were hit last night for Pete. 253 set the Mets all-time record in franchise history. He passed Darryl Strawberry, went oppo with that one. This is really cool, too. Between the Numbs on Twitter put this out and showed how over the years the Mets all-time home run list changed. Had Kranepool up there for a while, and Cleon Jones took over. Kranepool again. We're in the 70s. It's kind of like a horse race. AJ, Dave Kingman puts up a little 154 piece. Yeah, he did. But then Darryl Strawberry by the late 80s took it, carried it into the early 90s, 252. Howard Johnson fell short at 192. And now we're in the mid-90s. Todd Hundley up to 124. Bobby Bonilla moving up the list. Mike Piazza very much moving up the list, getting himself into the 2 spot at 220. Now we're in the early 2000s and heading into the 2010s. David Wright. You thought David Wright would get there?
David Wright was going to get there. Obviously, he had his, I think it was spinal stenosis, I think. Yeah, spinal stenosis. But the other thing that got him, too, he went into Citi Field, and I remember when he went into Citi Field, and it was, if you look at the stadium now, it is nothing like it. Like the fences have been moved in a ton, and he looked at it and he goes, "I guess they hate me," because there was no hitting the ball out of that ballpark to the opposite field like he used to. Neither one of Pete's homers last night would have been out in the old ballpark or in the original dimensions of the ballpark. It was ridiculous.
True? Both of them wouldn't have left? I know about the whole party deck thing that got put up, right? But the other side too? I just don't remember.
If you look at where the bullpen is, where the guys sit in the bullpen room on the visiting side, that's where the fence used to go across all the way to that like weird jutted out area in right field. It was ginormous. You used to have to hit it all the way into the bullpen, on the roof of the bullpen, of the visiting bullpen, not the home bullpen.
Wow. Well, Pete got it done. Here's the dingers. Here's the first one, the one that got it done officially, clearing the right center field fence. Double. And he was pumped that he did it at home. So it's cool. Pete's a great dude. He is a legend, I would say, already in franchise history. AJ, and beloved by fans. He just fits for this franchise.
I have to sign him.
A couple things. A couple things here on this. One, yeah, the fences were moved in, but did you ever go to the old Detroit Comerica before they moved those fences in? It made Citi Field look like the small park, okay? So that's why Juan Gonzalez didn't sign there, and he cost himself a lot of money. But The other thing is what I'm more listen, I love Pete, obviously. Gator, great guy from Florida, love Pete. So, but here's my question for you. Are we not amazed that the franchise record for home runs for the Mets is 252? Like, that's it. 252. Like, didn't it seem like you would think, oh man, all these great players that have gone through the Mets, that there'd be a 300 or 400 homer guy that stayed there long enough? But 252, I was amazed when I heard that number. Not that it's not a large number, but you would have thought somebody in the Mets had been around long enough and had good enough teams where someone would have hit 300 or 400 homers.
Just didn't stay long enough.
It's kind of like the
Name-
Dodgers.
name-
Look at the Dodgers all-time home run list. It's kind of like that too.
Name the lifers on the Mets, and it's got to be you got to stay for a long time. Pete actually did it in a really short amount of time. I think that's kind of underrated in all this because we're talking about a career and an entire franchise, but he did it pretty quick. You got to stay a long time to be able to hit over 250 home runs for one organization.
Yeah, he's a lumberjack. And the Mets found their form yesterday. They finally won. They had lost 12 of 13. They had a 13-run outburst after actually taking a 5-1 lead. They gave it up. Then they scored 8 in a row. All runs scored with 2 outs. And Spencer Strider ain't it right now. He knows it. His stuff's not the same at all. His last 2 starts against the Mets and the Brewers, 5 homers, 8 2/3, 13 runs, 19 hits. I mean, that is not Spencer Strider at all. Mets still have concerns, though. I mean, they ran out of fireworks, first of all, which is, come on, guys. You ran out of fireworks? What if you had an 8-homer game? You got to have more fireworks available. I'm kidding. But they did demote Frankie Montas, and they are going to call up Nolan McLean this weekend, who's one of their top pitching prospects. And some people are like, it's about damn time. Our show collectively has been pretty hard on the Montas signing, and we will continue to do that. So we'll see what this guy looks like. One of their top prospects, great stuff down in the upper minors. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, for the Mets, they still have work to do. Got to maintain that position in the wild card. Outside chance of chasing the Phillies for the division, but it's going to be tough. At least the offense found their form against a guy who's a shell of himself right now. So we'll step aside. We will come back and do slap.
What's up, all my beautiful people of FT? You know who it is. It's your boy Parlay Pap coming to you. Not AJ, not Erik, not Scott. They losing money. Listen to your boy here if you want to win that cheese today. Now, I'm going with 2 teams in the AL that are fighting for playoff spots and probably going to have a good chance of getting in. The Mariners and the Blue Jays. You got Gosman for the Blue Jays against the Cubs. Feel like he's going to shove that home. And Logan Gilbert for the Mariners. He's been shoving all year. Put them in a parlay together. Let's put 100 on it. It's plus 194. Let's get that cheese. Follow your boy Parlay Pat on these bets if you want to get rich, baby.
We got to give him another nickname, something about fading teams.
Yeah, seriously. And not only that, here's the thing, Pap. When you get to pick once every 2 weeks, I mean, I guess he does more than 2 weeks. He does like 2
No,
weeks.
he's a performer. He steps up. He's about 3 a week.
But don't rag on your teammates. Be a good teammate, Pap. Don't
Right.
rag on your teammates, right? Like, don't be a bad teammate, Pap. You're doing cool. We get it. You're doing good. We're happy for you. I'm happy that Pap's doing good because happy Pap is a happy FT, right? So I'm glad Pap's doing well, but don't bag on us. Don't bag on us, Pap. Because if I wanted to go there, Pap, I could just say Mississippi State, okay? And then every sport it wipes out. So I just bet every game against Mississippi State the whole year, and I'd be rich. Do it.
Happy Pap, happy life. I'm going to go Rays run line plus 119. Drew Rasmussen matching up against JT Ginn. Ginn not going deep in outings. That means open up that A's bullpen. I think the Rays can still swing it. They didn't really dismantle the team, so I've got them winning by 2 runs or more. I'll go a hundo to win 119. There's the board. Good luck on your locks tonight. Especially you, Pap. We love you. Swing big on your next MLB parlay. Use the MLB parlay boost token to score a bigger payout if your baseball parlay hits. It's that simple when you head to BetMGM.com or the BetMGM app. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll come back. We're going to do slap hands in a moment. And no Trevor Mayday today. He's off this week. Let's slap right to Kratz hats and maybe AJ hats too.
The Tigres, a team that I think really needs to pick it up. Get it? They were cold going into the break, out of the break, all that stuff. They need to pick it up. A lot of times we were saying they were the best team in the American League, and as Tim Kurkjian said, there's no good teams that are really that great in the American League. They could be one of them. They have the best pitcher on the planet.
Mm-hmm. I'll read you a little note on the way out. So there's a bunch of day games, first of all. So we're done for the day, but if you want to check those out, go for it. Rockies beat the Cardinals yesterday. Cardinals still have an outside chance. I mean, they got to go on a ridiculous run. They sold a little. They didn't sell much, but they did get shut out by the Rockies yesterday. Our Katie Wu from Cardinal Territory said, as many of you pointed out, Colorado has shut out St. Louis twice this season. Colorado has 2 shutout wins this season. You do the math. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Both against St. Louis.
Do they have any shutout losses
right now?
You said shutout wins. Do they have any shutout losses?
Is that a joke?
I mean, I don't know why you said shutout wins.
Of course.
Shout out Maven. By the way, shout out Maven. My hat. That's what you want to know. My hat is Maven.
Oh.
Or my son's been at. That's what. Maven Baseball Lab. If you ain't seen it, check it out.
Check it out.